Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky calling the large-scale Russian attack on Ukraine an act of war. Explosions are now being heard all across the country, and Ukraine is saying that at least 40 people, including many civilians, several civilians, have been killed so far. From Jeremy Diamond at the White House, that's what we're hearing, actually. Let's go now to Jeremy Diamond at the White House and Nick Robertson in Moscow. Jeremy, what can you tell us?
Well, listen, Brianna, President Biden overnight saying that this attack by Russia on Ukraine is unprovoked and unjustified, making clear that this is a war of choice by the Russian president. And today, you can expect that President Biden will unveil a full range of severe sanctions against Russia. A senior administration official telling us that the president, alongside U.S. allies, will unveil that full range of sanctions that we have been waiting for in the event of a full-scale Russian invasion. You can expect that to include full sanctions on Russia's largest banks, cutting them off essentially from the Western financial system. You can also expect that that's going to include additional sanctions against Russian elites, and perhaps as well these export controls, cutting Russia off from key Western technologies. President Biden is set to discuss all of these measures alongside U.S. allies at a G7 virtual meeting that's set to take place around 9 a.m. Eastern time. And then later in the day, around noon, we are expecting to hear directly from the President of the United States on these attacks that Russia has been carrying out overnight. We know that President Biden has been getting regular updates from his national security team, his national security advisor, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and I think you can also expect eventually to see some force posture changes. U.S. forces already, we know, have been sent additional forces to the Baltic region to shore up those NATO allies. I think you can expect to see more of that in the hours and days ahead. Brianna?
Look, Nick, Russia is expecting this. They know this is going to happen. Putin doesn't care. That is what has become very clear. He doesn't care about the consequences of what he's doing. He's going to move ahead with it. What do you expect the reaction is going to be to additional sanctions?
We're already hearing from the president's spokesman today saying that the markets have been affected in what is describing as an emotional reaction so far, that this was something that they'd expected, that they predicted. Clearly they were expecting to go and invade, as we now see, so they were aware that this was coming and they believe that they can cope with it. The president's spokesman today is saying that Russia cannot be put behind a new iron curtain. Perhaps as a reference to the sanctions they're expecting to hit them. It's interesting today that the president's spokesman is still not changing his narrative, or the president's narrative, about a war. He's still calling what we're seeing, tanks rolling in, artillery rocket barrages fired in, not calling this a war, still calling it a special military operation. The president's spokesman was asked, what is the end game here? What are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to replace the government? He refused to answer those questions. Any details about precisely what they plan to do beyond what President Putin has said, calling this, going after military targets, and in his words, somewhat very misleadingly and erroneously, but in his words, denazification. That ambiguity, the president's spokesman is not answering.
Yeah, look, their goal clearly is not their stated goal, which is built on lies. Nick, Jeremy, thank you so much for the reports.